The NFL Combine is over, which means more mock drafts for all of us. My name is Tyler, here with my brother Ryan, and we are doing a live Las Vegas Raiders mock draft. What do we mean by live? We means we are on PFF right now, and we will be the Raiders making all their selections. So while we're going through this, be sure to leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts on our picks, who you would like to see the Raiders take in that said scenario. And while you're at it, subscribe to the Tracy Take and tackle that bell to get notified when new videos come out. And Ryan, with that being said, let's pull up PFF here.
Let's
And
do it.
so we have Cam Ward coming off the board of the Titans, Ted McMillan to the Browns, Abdul Carter to the Giants. That's two times in a row now.
I
I
know.
think that's the most unlikely thing. Travis Hunter to the Patriots. That's very likely. Luther Burden to the Jags. That's very interesting. And so what I think of this is Shedeur Sanders is available. We know that there is
Yeah.
a big connection from there. I I think before we make that just selection, I mean, I think potentially Will Campbell would be great here. I think potentially, no, definitely not Tyler Warren now. It's Brock Bowers. Ted McMillan is
It'd
off
be
the
the
board.
best tight end duo in the league. They'd both be on rookie contracts. That'd be disgusting.
That would be
Uh,
wild. That'd be wild. Kirk Cousins would feast in that system there. No, I was joking.
yeah.
But he'd be like, this is what it's like to throw to an actual tight end because Kyle Pitts is overrated. But I digress. Yeah, I think now with the way this has worked out, but I mean, Mason Graham maybe. Imagine him and Christian Wilkins with Maxx Crosby would be kind of wild.
Yeah.
So that being said, Shedeur Sanders, I think
Yeah.
is the route here even if he doesn't start, it does not prohibit them from going a stopgap type route of getting an Aaron Rodgers or getting a Kirk Cousins or something of that nature. This probably, heck, even if they would pay Sam Darnold a big contract, I still think maybe trying to prepare for the future, have him sit for a couple years. I don't know. As I'm saying that, that's what's interesting with the Raiders is it's like what they have so little control of if Shador is going to be here or not, but they got to figure something out with the
Yeah.
quarterback position. Well, I say that they might not have to figure something out with a quarterback because Aiden O'Connell is there, but you would still like to have some reassurances.
So Aiden O'Connell, I think being there is like Aiden O'Connell is at best an average quarterback. I think you would like to have more aspirations for your quarterback than maybe he can play like an average NFL quarterback today.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Shedeur Sanders gives you that hope as a franchise. So
I
go
like it.
going with Shedeur here. Pretty easy pick, I think, especially you don't have to trade up for him. You don't have to give up any draft capital. I do think that these quarterbacks are going to go, well, maybe one of them will go a little bit later than people think. Um, but with that being said, I've been wrong before. So here at their second pick, I do think like wide receiver is a top need. Running back, maybe get a corner as well. Maybe snag like a Trey Amos at this point in the draft. I think would be really good value. What other wide receivers are on the board? Um, Jaden Higgins is the next one. Xavier Restrepo. Um, yeah, I'm kind of leaning Trey Amos at this point.
That's exactly what I was thinking as well. I think Siobhan Ravel I would love to see Siobhan Ravel like have gone to the senior day and the combine as well, and perform, put numbers out there.
Yeah,
I do think Jaden Higgins is worth a conversation, just because I think it would be very fun to watch him across from Jacoby Myers, and then also you throw Brock Bowers in that system. But I agree with you though. I do think
yeah,
secondary is going to be a bigger need for them as well, especially to looking at the defense as of right now. They have a bunch of cap space, and so a lot of these guys are probably going to be re-signed. But Trayvon Moehrig is a free agent. I know he's a strong safety. Marcus Epps is a free agent. He's a free safety. Nate Hobbs, he's the nickel corner. He's a free agent as well. But even to Jack Jones and then Jacorian Bennett. Jacorian Bennett was drafted in 2023, but I still think though you just want to get more talent in that secondary
yeah.
and re-sign some of the talent you already have, like Moehrig. But I think Trey Amos is the guy. I've been impressed with him.
Yeah, no, I have two very physical corner, can play man and zone pretty well. So I think that's good value there at pick 37. I do feel like that is going to be that sweet spot, like pick 20 through pick 40. You're going to have about 4 or 5 corners
Yeah.
go in that range. So here they have two pretty close together third round picks. We did pass on running back, I think earlier. This might be where they go and get that running back of the future. Travion Henderson is there.
I
Dylan Sampson just went. Oh,
Well, I say I like Henderson. What other receivers are available? Because they're in a very fun spot here,
Yeah.
um, with the receivers that are still on the board. Because I mean, there's a lot of different receivers that they can go and take.
Yeah.
And my reasoning for this is because Trayvon Henderson is there if we're picking in 5 picks. So if we go look at the types of receivers, scroll up a little bit. So Jalen Royals is there. We'd like him. I think Savion Williams would be very
Yeah.
fun as well. Jalen Knoll, I think, would be interesting. Scroll down a little bit more.
My one thing with, like, the guys that are on the board at this point, like, I like Trey Harris more, I think, than some of these other guys, maybe Savion Williams as well, but, they have, some slot guys. They have the Trey Tuckers, they have the Jacoby
Fair.
Myers, right? They need that, like, outside dominant receiver, that void that Devontae Adams has left. I don't know if that's on the board at this point, and being a good value here. Let me just go to straight wide receivers. So like Jalen
Torrey
Noel, slot
Horton.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
Torrey Horton can be. He did have a lot of production out of the slot. So he did have some wide snaps. Actually
well,
he had more wide snaps than I remember um him having.
yeah, yeah. So that's right. I think Torrey Horton would be better value in day 3.
Yeah.
And so let's do this. Let's do Travion Henderson here. Lock him up. Lock up that running
Okay.
back spot. Already running back spot improved. And then let's see who's available here. Who was taken off the board? I thought I saw a receiver. Did your Patriots take or no?
No, Carson Schlesinger, Jordan Phillips, Cameron Williams, Jordan Birch.
So I still like if we want to go back to it, and we've done Jalen Royals in the past. So let's see if we can mix it up here. Let's do Savion Williams because he's
Yeah.
huge and he can be a very fun
It,
gadget guy that Chip Kelly would really like to have
yeah. I,
on his team.
I like that. Let's do that. Savion
So
Williams. I think, especially here in the third round, that's pretty good value. His floor to me is like kind of what Cordell Patterson was in the late stages of his career, like when he was at the Patriots, when he kind of first started doing a lot of the gadget plays, played wide receiver, then went on to the Falcons, and then on to, I believe, the Steelers. So I feel like
yeah,
that's his floor. He could be much better than that as
yeah.
well. So here at pick 107, what are you feeling?
So to me, I'm looking at this offensive line, this defensive line, and so Christian Wilkins unfortunately didn't get to play the full season. Only played a couple games last year, and so Malcolm Kuntz is a free agent that's on the starting line, but they do also have Tyree Wilson. But nearly every other defensive line guy outside of that is a free agent or a restricted free agent in some capacity. John Jenkins, Adam Butler, Clavin Chasen. Sorry if I'm definitely
Caleb
mispronouncing.
on Chase on.
Yes, thank you. Janorius Robinson as well. And so to me, I think, and I hate just picking this guy all like over again. But this is kind of going to your Tay Felton point, as I'm sure we'll get the Tay Felton here because he's ranked like 200th or something, and he's not going to fall to the 7th round. I think CJ West, if he does fall to this position here, I think would be great defensive line
We
addition to that.
we could
You
mix
could
it up. We could go Deion Walker.
I could see
I,
Deion Walker. I think that would be good too with his
the
versatility.
big thing with him is he just needs to learn to play with more bend and play more um compressed, because he is 6'6", 345, and like all of it when you watch him. His biggest problem is when he's going into offensive lineman, he's standing up and then he opens himself like this massive target, and then he just kind of gets stymied right there at the point of attack. And so you watch his best reps, and he has great athleticism for that size as well, but you watch some of his best reps, and I think is when he plays a little bit lower, plays a little bit more compressed. And I feel like in that Raiders defense, he can do that. He'll be much more isolated on the interior. He'll be playing out of a 3-point stance more, and I think he'll be more of a gap penetrator there
That's perfect.
in Kentucky. So, not in Las Vegas, not Kentucky.
Yeah.
So I like Deion Walker. It mixes up the names a little bit too. We both like CJ West. We're both Indiana fans, so maybe we're a
I
little
think a
bit
lot of
biased.
people are liking
Yeah,
TJ West just from what I've been seeing on the combine
yeah.
report. So I love seeing that.
No, for sure. Here with the Raiders at 144, let's do a quick recap of who we've taken so far. So, quarterback Shedeur Sanders, cornerback Trey Amos, running back Travion Henderson, wide receiver Savion Williams, and then defensive interior Deion Walker. So, address the secondary, address the running back, wide receiver, quarterback, and defensive room. No help on the offensive line just yet, and I do feel like that is probably where this pick could go. Look at offensive tackles. look at interior offensive linemen. Luke Kandra is there. Seth McLaughlin. They did invest in Jackson
Jackson
Powers
Powers
Johnson.
Johnson.
Last year. So I don't know if center is the right way to go, but I do think snagging Luke Kandra would be an interesting move. Emory Jones could potentially be a right tackle for you. I don't know. What are you feeling?
No, I was thinking about that as well. The offensive line, it just adding some depth. And what's interesting too, and I know it's PFF, but it's like Jackson Powers Johnson was middle of the road when it comes to now they have him ranked as a guard, and so but they have him started as a center here when it comes to
Yeah.
like the lineup, the starting lineup overall. But I do still think just getting some good depth here would be great. And so getting a guy like Luke Kandra who's played right guard, I think that could be something that they could end up moving around. Seth McLaughlin,
Yeah.
I think would be a versatile guy that you could go and have, which is good. So I'm indifferent there. Let's also just see what other players are available though. I'd be curious to see who else could be here. Pat Bryant, I think would be interesting if you wanted to do another receiver
Yeah.
as well.
You could also get a slot corner in Quincy Riley. He's going to play more on that interior um, there as well. I am still leaning interior offensive line,
Okay, let's do
but
that.
okay.
I don't think
Let's
we've done Seth McLaughlin yet,
okay.
or do you
Let's do
wanna do
Seth.
Luke Kendra?
Let's do Seth McLaughlin. I was going up to the thing.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
there you
he
go.
can definitely. I think he's big enough. Yeah, he can move around. I think on that interior there, uh,
Perfect.
for them. Or if Jackson Powers Johnson is already playing guard, then I think Seth McLaughlin could slot in nicely at center.
Well,
So
it looks like Power Johnson's gonna kick into center here
okay,
at some point,
then
but
McLaughlin can play guard. This is also a 5th round pick. I don't think that they're drafting this guy with like immediate starter aspirations. So
yeah,
uh
exactly.
I mean, at this point, maybe is there like a tackle prospect that Jack Nelson, Johnny Cornelius, he could play right tackle for them. I think that's an interesting option. Um, they have a pretty good linebacker room. They are getting a little bit older. If you want to go with like a Cody Lindenberg
Let's
or
do that because they're probably gonna re-sign Robert Spillane, but then they
okay,
do also have Diablo,
yeah,
the free
for
agent.
yeah,
What's his name here?
it's like D
Divine,
Diablo, yeah, Divine Diablo,
Divine Diablo. Maybe they let him walk, but and then you can go in and
yeah,
draft somebody younger here. We've done Cody Lindenberg before. I think I like that.
oh yeah, I like
There you
him
go.
there as
Perfect.
well. I think he can. Sorry, I clicked it.
That's
But no, I like that fit. And then also too, if you don't sign Divine Diablo to a long term extension, Cody Lindenberg could potentially develop into his replacement. So
yeah.
here, getting to the last 3 picks, gonna go through these. I mean, do you want to invest in like a Tyler Shuck, get a toolsy quarterback to come in on day 3 and round out that quarterback room, double dip, do what the Patriots did last year. Um, I mean, there's a lot of different ways that I feel like they could go.
Yeah. LeJontay Wester, get another guy there.
Yeah, we could.
What
We
have
can
we
do
done
that.
so far again? Can we
So Shedeur Sanders, Trey Amos, Travion Henderson, Savion Williams, Deion Walker, Seth McLaughlin, and Cody Lindenberg.
we could do something like 'cause I've seen teams do that before where they go and then draft a teammate of the quarterback that they drafted, and so that's just a
Yeah,
consistent guy that they can throw to, someone similar.
yeah.
So
Let's get LeJontay Wester. I like
let's do that.
that fit.
And then we've done the defensive interior as well. So at this point, then too, you're trying to fill out guys here. I think a Hunter Woolard gets some safety depth as well, especially too with all the guys
Could
that they have
could
hitting
they
free
double
agency.
dip at running back?
Absolutely, they 100% could.
I think that would be an interesting one just because Alexander Madison and Amir Abdullah were just not good this
Get
past
Raheem
year.
Sanders.
Okay. Yeah, we haven't done him yet. Rocket Sanders, just a massive like bowling ball of
He
a
can be a
back.
goal line guy. He can be a
Yeah.
goal line back there. And the last pick here, if you'd want to double dip at the quarterback position as well, um,
Let's snag Tyler Shuck. I think he's had a really good pre-draft process.
is
And so
that how
you
you
just kind
pronounce
of
that name?
yeah, it's Shuck.
Okay.
Uh, so I think he's had a really good pre-draft process. I think you hedge your bet a little bit on the quarterback. You have a ton of draft capital, and you go and can potentially snag a day 3 guy that you can maybe flip for a at worst, you throw away a 7th round pick, which you're most likely going to do anyways. But
Yeah.
I think you just double dip at that position, bring in some competition. But then you have Shedeur Sanders, Aiden O'Connell, and Tyler Shuck as your 3 quarterbacks going into camp. And I feel like that's a good pick there. So we got an F for the Shedeur Sanders pick, by the way. But
Well, and that's with their PFF rankings,
yeah,
that's we're gonna
I,
see that a lot. But at the same time though too, and once again, there's the Raiders have so little control of getting Sanders on if he's gonna fall to them.
yeah,
It would have to require a trade up or teams pass on him. And then if they pass on him, then that's where it is interesting to see like why are you passing on him? Is his value really going to be there? And so which I think it could be. And once again, if you select him there, it's not going to stop you from in free agency going and getting a veteran quarterback to come and be that stopgap that we've seen teams
exactly.
do. So uh, I think if he's there at 6, I definitely think that they end up taking him, especially
No,
then
I do
too
too.
if all the other blue chip guys have come off the board as well,
Yeah,
or vast majority of them, like Mason Graham, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter.
yeah,
So in general, though, I think it's interesting. The Raiders have a lot of cap space as well. So depending on who they sign, who are some of their big free agency signings, like if they get somebody on a long term deal, that's going to give us more information on the route that they end up going as well. If they sign guys to 1 year deals, I don't think it hinders them from going after that
yeah.
position to addressing that in the draft.
Yeah, no, and I think uh, this is gonna sound kind of stupid, but like one of the benefits of having more holes on your roster is that you can come into the draft, you have a little bit more flexibility of just like I like we want to target these positions, but like we have a few things. So like even if the quarterbacks don't make it to them, I'm sure Will Campbell would be a good interior offensive lineman. They need a running back, they need an outside wide receiver. Like they have other things that they could go target. So Shedeur Sanders being there, I think he is a first round quarterback.
Yeah,
And so I think getting him there at 6 is good value. But
I like it.
let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this video here. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, leave a comment on what you thought of this Raiders live mock draft. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you have done differently? And other than that, we will see you guys next time.